In the day's other headlines, talks on raising the nation's debt limit and Republican demands to curb federal spending in exchange shifted to the White House, but there is no deal yet. This morning, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy said negotiators remained far apart, but both sides said they're still hopeful.
I am not going to give up. We're not going to default. We're going to solve this problem. I will stay with it until we can get it done. But let's be honest about this. We have to spend less than we spent last year.
They remain to be productive. We believe that if it continues to work, if they continue to work in good faith and recognize that neither side is going to get what they want, we can get this done.
Later, Speaker McCarthy said things went better in the afternoon's talks. If there is no agreement, the nation could begin defaulting on its debts around June 1st. A super typhoon pounded Guam today with sustained winds of 140 miles an hour and torrential rains. It crawled across the island's northern tip as the most powerful storm there in decades, and then it headed west. Forecasters warned that Guam could get as much as 25 inches of rain on top of a storm surge that is 4 to 6 feet high. Many communities lost power, and at least one hotel was wrecked. There were no immediate reports of deaths or injuries. Germany's government has launched a crackdown on climate protesters who have blocked roads and glued themselves to various artworks across Europe. Today, police raided 15 properties linked to activists known as Last Generation. It's part of an investigation into the group's finances. It came days after the German chancellor branded the group completely nutty. The country's interior minister defended today's actions.
Today's measures show that the rule of law does not allow to being taken for a fool. The police and the judiciary do not accept crimes, but they act as is their duty. The red line in the constitutional state is quite clear. Legitimate protest always ends where crimes are committed and the rights of others are violated.
The activists insisted they will not be cowed and will instead keep pressuring governments to do more to address climate change. In Sudan, sporadic clashes broke out today in Khartoum and elsewhere, despite a ceasefire between the army and a rival paramilitary group. The UN Migration Agency reported that these 5 weeks of fighting have forced more than 1.3 million people to flee their homes. Of those, some 320,000 have crossed into neighboring countries as the humanitarian burden spreads across the region. Back in this country, the Texas legislature has approved new standards for letting school libraries ban books that are deemed sexually inappropriate. The Republican bill went to the governor last night, despite objections that it is vague and could be used to target any works with LGBTQ content. Meanwhile, Montana's Republican governor signed a bill that bans anyone in drag costume from reading to children in public schools and libraries. The Supreme Court's Chief Justice, John Roberts, now says the court must do more to address ethics concerns. That follows reports of Justice Clarence Thomas accepting expensive trips and other gifts from a Texas businessman, but not disclosing them. Roberts addressed the issue last night in a speech in Washington. He didn't mention Thomas or offer any specifics.
I want to assure people that I am committed to making certain that we as a court adhere to the highest standards of conduct. We are continuing to look at things we can do to give practical effect to that commitment.
The justices recently signed a statement of ethics, but that has done little to quiet the demands for stronger action. And on Wall Street, worries about the debt ceiling talks weighed on the market again. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 255 points to close below 32,800. The Nasdaq fell 76 points, and the S&P 500 gave up 30.